upcoming events and activities, and Mrs. Zardi, maybe you want to highlight.
I haven't heard from any of you about attending the executive coaching workshop on the 26th of July. If that's something you're interested in, please let me know. We have scheduled a board academy from 6:30 to 8 at the Cooper, on August 5th. And you'll see I already have a bit of an agenda. Charles Heckel from the Medford School District, the Rural Virtual Academy. I wanted him, we're going to Skype with him, and he'll talk a little bit about the benefits of maybe having a longer contract than 1 year. I think we need to have some discussion about stipends for teachers who create online coursework in our district, if that's something we want to see happening, which we do want to see happen. We have to talk about appropriate compensation for that. The bidding process, talking a little bit about that to clarify with all the board members how and when bids are taken for work, construction work done in the district. And then I also want to share a little bit of information on a grant that's being written by the Wisconsin Legal Action, where they've asked for our school district's involvement, and then go over the student Gallup poll results with you that I did put in the paper. So we may need another meeting to just talk about food service.
Well, you're going to need another meeting to talk about food service, Fund 73.
Yeah, we've got both
Fund
finance
73.
things and
Need a
food
separate one just
service.
for finance
Yeah.
and food service.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, I hate to just create more meetings, but
There's a lot of things to know.
I think that the food service subject alone could be one meeting.
So when you look at the rest of the month, Tuesday's board policy, there's also the Educator Effectiveness Conference for school board members, if any of you are interested in attending that.
You know, what I'd suggest for that food service meeting is on your first meeting, have Jesse come in and give you an overview on what changes he's talking about. So that gives you maybe a week to think about what those changes may or may not entail. You know what I'm saying?
So do that on the 5th? An
Yeah, just
overview of
have him
potential.
give you a 15-minute or whatever. I mean, you got actually about 3 board academies sitting there in agenda items. So whether it's 15 minutes or a half hour, prepare him to
Which might be optimistic.
prepare him and say, Jesse, you need to come back and recommend what things you recommend continue doing or not doing, or what you need to do in order to do the same things you did last year, this year, so that he can give you that information, you can think about it over a week, then come back and discuss it.
So then when you look to the
So maybe you don't
following
need
week,
2 hours for that one agenda item.
so if we go to the following week, that would be the 12th. If you wanted to have like August filled with Monday night meetings
Yeah. But you have a meeting on the 12th, right?
at 5:30, and we could, that's the planning committee meeting for Toma Montessori Public Charter School. I will attend that, but I can leave by, I can just let them know we have to be done at 6:30.
So we're not having a meeting on the, I wonder why I had it on for the 1st, Thursday the 1st. Did that, was that written
Oh,
somewhere?
for the Montessori, or no?
No, it said board retreat for August 1st.
Well, we usually do it the first Monday of August, so maybe you heard
Oh,
first
first.
August and just, it's always on Monday, Jan.
Okay.
Or we could go to Tuesday, the 13th. I don't know how people's schedules look for that.
Annual meeting's 26.
How does Tuesday, the 13th look?
I can
Okay
do
for
that.
me.
What
Okay,
time are you?
Wednesday.
What's this for?
So this would be an additional Board
Okay.
Academy,
Board Academy?
Tuesday, August 13th.
Time?
We do 6:30 to 8.
To talk about what?
Then we will talk about food service after Jesse's given a short blurb the previous Monday, and then Fund 73.
Okay,
Anything else?
I'd do bidding on that same meeting.
Do bidding at that meeting.
Because otherwise, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be too much.
Bidding,
that first
Fund
meeting, you
73.
never through it.
You mean move the bidding discussion from the 5th?
Yeah, that's better with that
Yeah.
finance stuff.
Okay.
okay.
So we're not having a...
Food service.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah,
We are.
but they're just kind of moving stuff around.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd
We
be
should be
right
able to
out
do
here.
those other things.
Our Robert
Yeah.
Cooper.
Is there anything else on the
I think so.
13-14 budget that you guys wanted to talk about? I mean, because I'm just going to throw it out there, the librarians came in here and talked tonight, and so did we just listen? And
Right.
I mean, what, more to say? I mean, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean,
I think they need some sort of response. Or did we just listen?
Well, was that already, like, done?
Well, if you recommend to us that you believe we should be including a part-time person, then will have to go back and revise the budget.
Something
and-
else will have to go. That's what it'll amount to.
So,
well, yeah, I mean, the timing was awkward. I mean, but the aid had been, it wasn't decided. It was one of those variables that Greg had put on there
Right.
for months and months and months. And
Right.
they wanted to come forward, and it took a while. But I don't know, no, it should not be a done deal. I mean, we invited them to come speak and make their case. and-
Well, I guess my question is though, and maybe that's at that point in time, you've been preparing a budget now for 4 months, and the question comes up at the 5th, at the 11th hour now, and I'm not speaking to, I have my feelings one way or another because it just didn't come up this spring. It's been talked about for well over a year, at least been on the agenda. I guess a little bit of my concern is now at the 11th hour, now it's coming to the board, and I don't know why it's coming to the board at the 11th hour. Maybe they asked in April, which I know they didn't. But, you know, now we have questions. Is this something that should have been asked 3 or 4? Doesn't mean you can't change it. I'm not suggesting that at all, that you can't talk about it.
Well, I'd certainly like to talk about it. I don't know how anybody else feels, but
Well, then maybe it is appropriate at the board retreat, at that budget one. Is that too late? The 13th? Well, it's not too late, because
okay, so I'll put that down for the 13th as well then.
But we got to have a better mechanism for doing this and letting people come in at the 11th hour.
Yeah,
I'm really disappointed that, the manner and way in which it came back and the way it was actually been presented. I'm not walking away because I'm just throwing some stuff.
No, I understand. It was awkward timing, but I would just point out this developed in an awkward way, and we had been talking
How
to.
so?
What's that?
How so?
Well,
This is developed the same way whenever we've recommended, whether it was the reading teachers that we eliminated 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm not suggesting it by any means that it's not important. None of the stuff we've done the last 3 or 4 years makes any sense.
It's not what we want to do.
What we want to do in the big picture, it's just a matter of making difficult choices. And I would leave leave everybody with this to think about before then. If it's not this, what is it?
Well, and that's what,
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that this is more important than others, but when I say it developed in an awkward way, the librarians brought this up as something they were hoping to discuss. For whatever reasons, it did not get on the agenda. I told them we would be happy to hear them if they wanted to make a presentation. This happened
Right,
This
but
happened
we
months
asked-
ago.
Yeah,
This
we
happened
asked-
months
We
ago.
asked in September of October last year that they sit together and make a plan to come up with a strategy to address this. Nothing was done with it up until, I think, one meeting did I go to that in
Probably in
Have the
February.
aides been hired?
April?
No.
None
Well,
of
we're
this can
looking
be
at
done
adding,
or
we're
changed.
looking at adding hours to
Oh,
current
great.
people. But I believe people need to have an opportunity to have their voice heard. So I do
too, if they do the work on the front end when they're asked to do the work rather than waiting for the 11th hour to.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is the 11th hour sort of happened because there was a miscommunication about how to get it on the agenda. Perhaps that was my fault. And I said we would be happy to put it on the agenda a month or two. It didn't happen. I didn't hear back because I thought they were trying to formulate a plan. So
And they
I'm not
never-
trying to assign any blame in this whole thing. I feel like it could have come on earlier, maybe that was my fault, and then it happened to get scheduled right when we were also approving the budget. And I think that was what I'm saying is awkward. That was just a fluke in timing.
And I think, the only thing I would add is that we've met with them throughout the course of the year, and they've never said to us, can we come to the board and talk to
Yeah.
the board? You know what I mean? So I know they told you that, but we've tried to have very open communication with them throughout the year, so, it's just, it is
I'm
what
not
it is.
advocating for them. I feel somewhat responsible for the bad timing of having their presentation on the same night as we were approving a budget, which made it look like it's already decided. And so I'm willing to take the blame for that, and if we can somehow address it, I apologize, but I guess I should have tried to handle it better.
There's no blame.
It just, no,
is
it just
what is.
happens.
Yeah.
It's stuff that happens.
Yeah.
We need to finish the discussion now. The discussion was brought up. and it's-
I agree, there needs to be a better system for something like that. It was maybe a learning opportunity.
And trust me, no matter what position you eliminate going forward, if you have to continue eliminating positions, this will happen with each and every one of them. That is the nature of the
And
beast.
it should. If they didn't feel strongly about their
Absolutely.
positions,
It
then
should
we'd be
be.
upset about
Let's
that.
see, what's the monetary difference here? What would that- If they,
60 to 70,000, well, probably closer to 70, depending if you can find somebody.
Well, would-
the whole process, that's, going away from our budget plan here. I mean, Cindy and Greg talk about certain budget avenues to go on, and if you throw in another $60,000-$70,000, that can infringe on some other thing.
Well, is this something we can discuss at the 13th? And kind of know costing, what it would affect? And
I think the thing that, and maybe this is way off, but I think the thing is that we need to make sure staff get every opportunity to discuss these things in advance. And again, when I say this, we eliminated this position actually a year ago. This isn't a new elimination.
No, it's not.
Right.
And I know that they were well aware that that was a temporary position.
Yeah, and we had sought to get them together over the course of the year to come up with, make the best out of a bad situation, basically. And up until, again, it was actually in May, I think, when I met with them over a common school library fund, it just kind of come up and basically said, well, this was just dropped on us. Well, I knew better than that it wasn't. So I guess my thing is, and I try to tell people, and every opportunity we get to sit and take control of our own destiny. Whenever you're asked to sit and talk about the future, whether it's your position or whatever it is, we need to take those opportunities and spend the time, because in the end, if you don't take your time, then it ends up being like this, and I don't think we want to see that happen. You know, we want to give them the opportunity to voice their opinion and not just say, I didn't have nothing to say, and show up on your doorstep.
Mr. President, are we having an executive session tonight?
We are,
We are, okay.
yeah, so I'm sorry,
Then
the,
I'll hold off.
the events and activities, we got a little
I
bit
got goodies here.
for our field.
Everybody needs one.
We might.
So,
They come in a 12-ounce can?
I see-
Okay,
well, we've got to go through the
gotta go into-
formalities yet, Gary.
I see Rundy was sucking on one tonight. Oh, he took it out of my bag.
So the board will convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute.
may I just make a couple of
Yes.
other comments on this?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I just want to point out that I've listed some of the back-to-school things that are taking place, and you certainly are invited to attend any of them. If you want to see the types of things that we're doing with new teacher in-service, those will be taking place at the high school and the LMC, August 12th through the 14th. We've got the district data dig that will be taking place Tuesday and Wednesday, August 20th and 21st. That also will be in the high school LMC, so please feel free to join us, for any of those things if you'd like to see what's transpiring, so. And then Jan and Kathy, if we can set a date sometime for the meeting on the recognition, WASB recognition.
So the 13th is 6:30?
13th will be 6:30 to 8, plus on the 5th.
Well, if it's gonna have to be presented to the board, right? Let's do the 16th.
So we
That's
were,
right, wait a second, yeah.
Yeah, the submission is not,
we have to do it either before the 5th or before the 13th.
Is there any time that you could meet during the daytime?
I can't.
That's what I was wondering.
And I can't do Tuesdays or Thursdays for the next 3 weeks. So that really is limited. I could do next Monday at 4:30.
Okay, how's that work for you, Jan?
I can do 6.
6, okay. So that's the 22nd?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. July 22nd.
Can you do 6?
Yeah. District office?
Yeah. No earlier than 6?
All right, no.
How about Wednesday then?
I can't do,
24th?
Wednesday I can do.
You can't, Cindy?
Yes,
All
Cindy
right.
can do Wednesday.
no. That's the one day I hold sacred during.
No, Cindy can do Wednesday.
Okay, Monday at 6 o'clock then at the district office?
Yes. And then we can actually put that on the 5th, probably.
Yeah.
All right, John, thank you.
No, thanks for bringing those things to our attention. There's a lot to keep track of.
Now people know that
How
you're
long are
conscious.
these
You remind me.
things in bed?
Forever.
Forever.
Oh, so I can bring this up anytime?
Yeah.